What's good? We back. Today I wanted to talk about one of my favorite players. He's one. I know my top five favorite players is Giannis, KD, Harden, Westbrook, and Kyrie. But today we're going to talk about Giannis. With all these trade rumors going on about him potentially leaving the Bucks, which I don't think he is, at least as of right now. But I just wanted to talk about Giannis, how the narrative around him has shifted and changed over time. So I would say Giannis, he would start getting a little bit of recognition maybe 2017, 2018. 2019 is definitely when it skyrocketed with him winning MVP or his first MVP. But so the thing we always wanted from Giannis is, okay, we know you could play good in the regular season. How is that going to translate to the playoffs with his play style being a lot of slashing and just get into the basket? We wanted to see how that would translate. And Giannis got crucified for years for not being able to change his play style or not being as effective in the postseason. Because as we know, in 2019, his first real year where we expected him, we looked at the Bucks as a contender. They got past who they played the first round, the Celtics. Then they played who they play in the second round, the Bucks in the second round. Bro, who the Bucks play in the second round in 2019? I just know they ended up beating. They played the Raptors in the conference finals. That's all that matters. And Giannis got shut down. Yeah, at first the Raptors, they did the wall defense because I would say the wall defense for a team to actually pull that off. That 2019 Raptors team was the best team to execute it because they had a bunch of long defenders. Pause. With Pascal Siakam, Serge, Marc Gasol, Kawhi, Danny Green. They had a bunch of good defenders and long defenders that could help clog up the lane so when Giannis tried to go. But then I think, once they was down 2-0, the Raptors, I think that's when Kawhi was like, okay, I'm going to guard Giannis. And Giannis became ineffective. And I get Kawhi was just different that year. He was determined. But yeah, he got shut down. So 2020 came around. He ended up getting hurt. He got hurt from one game against the Heat and was out. But that one game that he was hurt was the one game that the Bucks actually won in the bubble. This was against the Heat. 2021, they switch it around. They actually won. They won the chip, but the thing is, though, he actually gets crucified for that one, me included, because it's just KD foot's not on the line. History's a little bit different. Or not even if KD's foot's on the line. If his teammates stay healthy, we don't even have to, it doesn't probably even get to that point because the Nets were blowing the Bucks out by 50 in game 2 at the half. So, yeah, the Nets were supposed to win that series and potentially win the chip that year. But you play who you win, and that's not Giannis' fault. He did what he had to do. 50 ball against the Suns in the finals. And he did what he had to do against the Hawks. So I can't blame Giannis for doing what he had to do. But 2022, same thing. His free throw shooting, even though he got hurt. No, 2022, he just lost. I'm bugging. 2023 is when he got hurt. 2022, he got lost against the Celtics, the team that went to the finals, which we can't get mad because Giannis only loses, I would say him and KD. I didn't mean to make this about KD. They only lose to the teams that make it to the finals. Peep. He lost against the Heat. They made it to the finals. He lost to the Celtics. They made it to the finals that year and lost to the Warriors. Giannis isn't just losing in the first, second round unless if it's injury or something like that. So I think that's something very important when we talk about Giannis, that he loses to the best of the best. But Giannis is one of those people where he affects the game in multiple ways, but he could also be the reason why you lose a game. And what I mean by that is, his slashing, I would say his slashing was very effective, and just the gravity that he has once he goes into the lane. Because, you have to clog up the lane to stop Giannis. So that crashes the defense so you could kick it out to people who can shoot. But I will say the Bucks shooters that year weren't effective. Pat Connaughton, Grayson Allen, they weren't they're good shooters by definition, and they're known for being good shooters, but in the playoffs, they weren't that. And then 2023 came around. when he was hurt. He got hurt in game 1, I think. But the games that he did play after that, his free throw shooting, I think he missed like 13 free throws, something like that. And it's just like, okay, Giannis. All I'm saying about Giannis is that Giannis is one of my favorite players, but I will say he's one of the most hardworking players in the league. And we could see the difference when he first came into the league versus to where he is now, just the way he's built and things like that. So I think Giannis gets a little bit too much crucified for not changing his game because he adds something new every year. Like this year, I would say he added a little post game. Like, he would do like fadeaways and stuff like that. Like his post game has gotten better over time. I just think people have him labeled as the run and dunk man when in fact he's not that anymore. Like you could tell he's changed, and Giannis has a good work ethic. Now I do feel like he's never gonna become lights out from the 3-point line. There's just something. I've realized that a lot of athletic players, it's harder for them to shoot. I realized that, I don't know if I said this in a video before, but like look at players like Westbrook, John Wall, Ben Simmons, just players that it's harder for them to shoot, maybe because their arms and hands are bigger. I don't know. LeBron, he's an up and down shooter, so I don't know what it is about them. And plus, you can't have everything. Like Giannis even joked around about it one time. Like he can't be unstoppable in the paint and be Steph Curry. So, but yeah, I think Giannis is somebody who gets crucified a little bit too much. Because one thing about Giannis is when he's put in a position to win, he does execute it. And I would say that 2021 is a good example of that. Because the Suns were up 2-0 in that series. And everybody thought, I'm not going to, even though Giannis is one of my favorite players, I wanted the Suns to win because that for Chris Paul, that was probably his only chance to win a ring. Like, I really thought that was his only chance to win. And Giannis is young. At the time, this was like, 2 years ago? So if Giannis is 28, now he's probably like 26 at the time. So it was just like, Giannis, you got all the time in the world, man. Like, he didn't even reach it. Your statistical prime is when you're 27, and he didn't even hit that yet. So it's just like, wow, Chris Paul, he's on his way out the league, so I wanted the Suns to win. But that's not how it turned out. And the fact that they won 4 straight games, iconic block against DeAndre Ayton, and then, of course, the alley-oop to him where he stared at the camera, one of my favorite. That might be one of my favorite Giannis moments. That might be my favorite Giannis moments because the way he just did that. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about Giannis a little bit. And maybe him leaving the Bucks. I don't think he'll leave the Bucks, at least as of right now, because I don't see why would he? Milwaukee. I do feel like I could see why, because they did get rid of that coach, Mike Budenholzer, he was just a bad coach. Like he didn't do anything, bro. Like he didn't make no adjustments. That's one thing, coaches that get stuck in their ways. I think Doc Rivers is like that too. Mike Budenholzer just didn't make no adjustments, no anything. Like, there was so many plays or switches, but one thing I will say that should have happened, Giannis should have guarded Jimmy. And I understand he was hurt, but he did the same thing in 2020. I'll guard who the coach guards. That when you're the superstar player, especially the defensive player of the year, like Giannis was that year in 2020, you're supposed to all right, let me guard Jimmy. Like, you know what I mean? That's not something you wait for the coach to tell you. You guard the best player. Anytime I play 3-on-3 or 2-on-2, I always want to guard the best player. So it's just like, that's something, when you're the best player on your team, that's just something that comes with it. And I understand you want to save energy, but when you're in a playoff settings like that, where you see him frying Drew Holiday, where you just see him frying Chris Middleton and whoever was on him. This is going for 2021 and this year. It's just like you got to take that up and do something about it, Giannis. So some things like that, yeah, I will say they are worth a little criticism. But to the point, I've seen someone say that Giannis is overrated as a defender because he was pulling up Basketball Reference and saying that like in the pick and roll when he gets switched onto a guard, he's not a good defender. It's just like, but then he said, but he excels at what he's supposed to do. So that means like guarding the post, stuff like that. It's just like, you see, I feel like Giannis, he gets a lot of hate because you're mad at him because he's not the best guard defender when like guarding a point guard or a shooting guard when that's literally not his job. So it's just like, to say that Giannis is a bad defender, I feel like Giannis is just somebody where we see one bad part of his game and we nitpick it into saying that he's a bad player. So I really hope that Giannis stays on the Bucks, you know. But if he were to go somewhere else, I don't know where he would go. Like, honestly, what team could Giannis? I heard one of my teachers said the Knicks. Of course, he's a Knicks fan, but I don't see that. I don't know where maybe him and Jalen Brunson and a bunch of role players, maybe that would be good, but I don't know. There's a lot. Any team with the chance to get Giannis would probably get him. I just don't know what team. But I do feel like we need to appreciate players and not just look at their glaring flaws, especially if it doesn't lead to them losing games. Now, sometimes we do have to hold them accountable, like with Giannis and his free throw shooting and his lack of some things that happen, but at the end of the day, they still great players. But yeah, that's the end of this video. Again, I'm going to stop with the rambling, man. Like, there'll be times where I'll be like, yo, I'm just chatting, but hopefully I get better at it. And yeah, that's going to be that. I'm going to try to be more consistent. I know I took a little break, but it was only like 2 weeks. And don't worry, I want to film a one-on-one video with one of my friends. We're going to get it done. So I'll talk to y'all later.